I just seen these in Aldi. Aldidas, the perfect budget gift for any Middle Eastern in your family. Which, in that context, makes me realize that each culture has its own version of, like, lazy rubber shoes. But the differences between them, Crocs are actually fashionable. These are more versatile if you want to throw them at someone. While white Aussie thongs are basically just G-strings for feet. Which, I'm sorry, fellow Australian white people, but in comparison, we dress in ways that should make our fathers ashamed of us. Your average day in Queensland. You know, us in the EmKay group chat actually had this discussion earlier in the week. According to Lexi and her
almighty, all-powerful, all-seeing, all-knowing
knowledge, while Australia does have a high average temperature of above 50 degrees Celsius, America is actually at 56. Now you may think, well, that clearly explains it then. America is definitely hotter than Australia to live in. And I say nay, soul sister. Not because we are closer to the equator, not because of the humidity comparison, but because I said so. And that's all the proof you need. Optus on-call technician with boss.
I have been messaging you since 4 a.m. What do you mean you didn't get it?
Hey, look, boss, I was trying to use the trains this morning and it was a nightmare, okay? None of them were working on time or running at all.
Wait, the public train system?
Yeah.
The one that uses our Optus service?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
And that's when one of Australia's top 2 telecommunication service providers realized they had a huge shitstorm on their hands, causing many to start a panic among Australia.
Cash is king.
I'll see how the world could go under if we don't have proper technology. We can't rely on this.
Yeah, let's go back to the good old days when we didn't need digital currency and cards.
Meanwhile, at the checkout.
Excuse me, what is this?
Oh, it's a self-checkout, sir. Well, where are the plastic bags? Oh, well, we've gone back to the good old days where you actually bring your own paper bags or you can buy them yourself.
What? No, I don't like that. That's less convenient for me. No, I don't like that.
I don't like that. That's on proper.
No, this is... anyone outside Australia needs to understand how apocalyptic this is.
The Gyms Group announces new venture, Gyms Beauty.
I don't know what to compare this to in America, but basically, old mate here started with a business in mowing, and 40 years later, this man has an Australian monopoly in over 52 different services. Note to the editor, an entire list of all these services are on gyms.net/services. I mean, you got basic stuff like Gyms fencing, Gyms handyman, you got Gyms bookkeeping if you want to get away with some tax fraud, you got Gyms conveyancing, Gyms diggers. Hey, what about Gyms hazardous material? Maybe you're building a nuclear bomb. You need Gyms help with that. And now we have this. What I was certain was just another meme that Australians have made regarding all of Gyms' ridiculous different business ventures. No, this is serious. And it's for weddings too.
Come on and hire Gyms Beauty. It won't be a perfect result, but let's be real, if you were expecting that, you wouldn't have hired us in the first place. Yeah, mate.
Mother, what's a long neck?
That's one of these fellas, little buddy. Hey, you gotta remember one thing when you're drinking from a VB like this. You gotta swallow the entire neck down your throat as you drink it, otherwise, you're not a man. If you still got a gag reflex after having a VB, you ain't trying.
Americans calling them cookies, Brits calling them biscuits, Australia calling them bickies. Well, we take it from 2004's Australian Idol winner Hannah Montana. We've got the best of both worlds. What Americans grew up watching? Dora the Explorer. One of the best shows in the world. The Simpsons. One of the best shows in the world. Barney. What Australians grew up watching? Jimmy Reese and that Weird Al. Yes, that's Jimmy Reese. That is him before TikTok. It's okay if you don't know him, he's merely my guiding light of inspiration that one who is an actor doing only childish kid shows can still eventually develop a decent career in some way. We also grew up watching The Best Show in the World. The Best Show in the World, Play School, and an adaptation of one of the best shows in the world. Okay, I'm saying the puppetry one, the one with the actual suits and costumes, that was the good one. Not this CGI bullshit. Optus offers customers 200 gigabytes of free data as compensation for nationwide outage. Wow! This is worthless. Yeah, adding on to Optus drama. They're sorry to not having any sort of backup systems and basically letting businesses lose out on thousands of dollars of potential income for the day is by handing out $50 gift cards to people's data plans. Note, this wasn't offered until everything was already fixed, and when people's internet plans and mobile plans are usually just unlimited now anyway. Like, wow, you couldn't maybe slash my bill or do something to compensate the costs I already have? No, you're gonna give me something that is literally no value. Government Government when people are losing money on investment properties.
Oh dear, oh dear. Gorgeous.
Government when people lose money on any other investment.
You
G'day.
donkey!
Now see, the way to fix this is by getting all the politicians to suddenly invest in crypto. That way when your crypto money suddenly starts going down, again, they'll actually care this time. It's why they care about investment properties after all, because they're actually affected too. Optus telling customers about their network outage. Yeah, maybe if our stuff is on fire enough, they'll see the smoke and they'll feel sympathy for us.
Are you sure businesses aren't just going to desperately call other internet services to sign up with them now instead?
No, don't say that. You'll wish it into existence. Stop. Gotta love Australia. Well, there's a new conspiracy theory for myself. I believe they did this on purpose. They chose on these colors to match with the actual Australian currency. I mean, you got to admit, anywhere else in the world cannot compare to Australia's beautiful currency.
I mean, it's like collecting Pokemon cards. Look at that stuff.
That is my only support for keeping cash in the system of currency exchange, just so we get to keep the nice colors. Poor old Buffalo Bill.
I'm having a meltdown.
God damn, it's been a while since I've had one of them. I think I'm gonna go grab one after this. You know what though? I don't ever actually remember these tasting good. I just remember enjoying them because look at them. It's a face with a gumball. Yes, please.
Australia, world's deadliest everything. We still don't need guns, putties.
I love how this meme was made out by someone who clearly has never actually memed before. It's like a kid in grade 3 recently learning how to format something. Like, ooh, we Americans, look at our sophisticated, better Australians. We put the glove padding on the part of the kangaroo that won't slice our stomachs open and rip our guts out just by kicking and clawing at us.
We don't celebrate Halloween because it's American.
Starter pack. American food, American drinks, American movies, American cars.
This is Australia, not America. F off with your Halloween shit, you little cunts.
My school. Please bring a gold coin donation. My parents.
Whoa, gold coin? Mate, you're joking. That is some expensive currency.
Here, have two 50-cent coins.
They're bigger and easier to find if I drop them down the couch or in the car compared to the gold coins, but I'm a bit of a dragon. That's the truth. Us Australian parents, we're all secretly dragons inside. We're lizard people. We're the true lizard people. Don't tell the Americans. Europe. Drive 16 hours, passes through 5 countries. Australia. Drive 16 hours, still in Queensland. I'll be honest, I don't know why we don't separate the states a bit more, because what the coast of Queensland needs to focus on is a lot more different than what the center of Queensland does. I mean, it's like making Kansas work under the same jurisdiction as California. Don't know if that example makes much sense, but we're going to continue on before you get a chance to correct me. Woo! Australians who refuse to adopt aspects of American culture versus those who already have.
Hey, guys, do you think there's a bit of irony of us using guns to stop these people with their American ways?
Don't think about it, mate. That's how they convert you.
New South Wales education in a bid to control school students. We've banned mobile phones. The voices of children all across New South Wales.
And you think this will stop me? I, a genuine voice and look of an Australian high school student.
This mushroom pie tastes like hell.
Yeah, there's a new chef.
Oh no, you can't. Oh, this is going to be one of the darkest Australian memes so far. Oh my god. So for context, mother is serving lunch at her home for her ex's family. Ex's parents, ex's siblings. Her ex-husband, couldn't make it at the time. And she serves beef Wellington with death cap mushrooms. Note that her kids, conveniently, are not available for lunch as well. Anyway, everyone eats it and everyone gets sick. 3 of the ex's family members pass away. She put the remaining beef Wellington in the fridge and served it to her kids the next day, but conveniently brushed off the mushrooms because the kids apparently don't like the fun guy. Yeah, there's a lot of suspicious parts in this. On one end, someone who genuinely just screwed up and is really panicking. On the other end, her ex-husband did go to hospital last year for having extreme gastrointestinal pain after eating food she served him. So, So come on down to Australia, folks, where if our strawberries don't have needles in them anymore, then our mushrooms will poison you to death. Am I right? find the missing one. You know, it makes me an extremely proud Australian as someone who hasn't had these in years, and I can immediately tell it's missing the pizza shapes. Because they should be in the goated tier right now. The Jesus Christ of this shaped product was Christianity itself. I am curious about the Vegemite shapes though. I'm not sure. It can be a real hit or miss with Vegemite blended into other products. I mean, they tried that with Cadbury, and yeah, I don't remember how I felt about that actually. But yeah, I'll be honest, this is accurate. Richest Ipswich neighborhood. Poorest Brisbane neighborhood. As long-term Brisbaneite, this is extremely accurate. Like, Ipswich's only surviving factor is the fact it has a fancy shopping mall. And I need to emphasize this, for a small town. The rest of it looks abandoned. Though ironically, if you go on the opposite side of the motorway in Ipswich, you are in rich person suburb. As in large acreage lots for all the rich millionaires who don't want to live in the city where it's all crowded. It's genuinely a complete 180. And my source on this is that my aunt and uncle live there. Very important to note though that Brisbane looks like that in comparison to Ipswich. You compare Brisbane to any other major city and it looks like Ipswich. One of the top posts in r/Australia asking why people tuck their ears into their hats. Well, with a certain size ears, the cap pushes them down and it makes you have Dobby style ears. Remember people, donate your clothes to a random Australian to save them from slavery.
Yeah, also they burn in the sun quite easily.
Australia, where 1 in 3 of us will die just by going outside. Alright, Reserve Bank of Australia, we'll give you the money, but you have to promise it'll make living more affordable. Reserve Bank of Australia.
Nope.
Okay, then just give me the drinking bird.
Yeah, mate, he's drinking the water. Could I have some?
No.
Okay.
They're real.
See? We told you. You all thought it was a joke. We'll just give it a tourist, but it's the truth. This is full science, people. That's some Australian trees and bins and power lines right there. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, for God's sake.
I identify as a red bin. Please empty me.
In all the effort you made to make that sign, you could have just broken this down better and put it into a red bin, you know? Wow, crazy, huh? The ingenuity that comes out of someone to avoid doing the thing that would have taken the exact amount of time. Drought preparation. Be like,
remember when you had to wash your car with a low volume pressure washer out of a bucket? Pepperidge Farms remembers.
I don't, because I never grew up anywhere in Australia where drought was an issue, so I'm pretty privileged with that. Something about this landscape rings a bell. Look, I'm gonna say that is genius work, well done, but I see this every year, this sign and this whole movement about, hey, you speak to someone, ask if they're okay, and I can never help but read it as a very condescending tone, like someone really stuck up, kind of speaking down to you as if you're strange and weird. Hey, are you okay? I'm just trying to check in with your mental health. Are you okay? You just seem a bit weird and off, you know, are you okay?
Hey, little man, a little r/Australia, how's it going?
Do we drink too much? So I work full-time, 45 hours per week, and we're raising 2 teenagers. I'd go through about 5 bottles of vodka, whilst my wife, who's a nurse who works 32 hours per week, would have about 1 bottle of vodka with 3 bottles of wine per week. I'll add that we don't get falling down drunk every night.
Jesus fucking Christ.
People with Telstra sharing their hotspot. Optus users.
You are safe now, my sweet child.
I owe you my life. I can let people know my social media status thanks to you.
Anyone else remember this one? I always found it creepy. Johnson and Friends. Yo, that bed warmer was my thing. Like, mainly just because I couldn't comprehend what its tongue was. I loved the truck because wheels and broom broom. And looking at it now, the bed warmer looks like it's constantly screaming in some sort of agony. But the way it moved and wobbled around, it was fascinating, okay? Also, just to understand the size of these puppets, most of these aren't actually puppets. They're bodysuits. No, I just looked up the opening song of this out of curiosity. You ever have those moments in your life where you suddenly learn where something about yourself came from that you subconsciously added to your traits as a human? Because I have just learned where my habit to go wee comes from. It's the literal intro of this freaking show. It's what the elephant says as it rides around on a goddamn skateboard. And throughout the credits of the intro as well, it's just wee, wee. God damn it, me. It's mosquito season. Yeah, don't worry. If you see a lot of people scratching their necks in Australia, it's not because we're all addicted to drugs. I mean, we are, but but it's also because of bugs. Can't use my phone all day. And as soon as Optus is back online, it instantly sends me a bill. Hi, Optus here. Jesse, you gotta pay your bill. Come on, we provide a service for you and you owe us money for it. Is this the first ever time we've seen these on display? You know what? I think this is absolutely true.
Sewing kit season is here. Grab yours.
Finally, an ample opportunity for the parents of this generation to traumatize the children of the future generation. These Danish luxury cookies certainly know how to advertise. The true underrated shape. What the salt and vinegar shape? I don't know. So, Australia has helicopter sharks now. Minderee Beach. Warning. Dangerous current. Submerged rocks. No life-saving service. Schwak, 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 schwaks. Characters you main in Super Smash Bros. Water without much character development. And waves who will leave you brokenhearted. Me right now in Queensland. Seeing the sunrise near the end of a night shift. Yeah, what's the time? It's only 4:30 a.m. I don't know who needs to hear this, but this means your freaking high beams are on and I can't see stuff. As someone who currently every month and a half will have to drive for 10 hours straight up to another state for work, the amount of night drivers who don't seem to understand they don't need this on. Oh man, like wow, you have to slow down because if you crash, you're not getting any assistance for at least 10 hours. Department of Pre-Crime. God, I almost read that as something else for a second.
At 3 p.m., a man will kill his wife after finishing his lunch. He must be apprehended immediately. Yes, sir.
For what reason? What is the charge? Eating a meal? A succulent Chinese meal?
And they say China's the country with all the surveillance. Name a more iconic Australian book. I'll wait. Yeah, possum magic. You know, I'm thoroughly surprised that our generation was brought up being in love with such a book that had, honestly, horrifying faces of the animals. I know this is what a possum looks like. You know, possums are actually scary looking creatures. Can't believe my school teacher had the audacity to point this out. You know how us Australians have that really quirky humor? Join us in supporting Australian research in space exploration. Please peruse our arse. Driving on country roads in Australia. Me already going 5 kilometers per hour over the speed limit. The ute behind me. When Mariah Carey comes on the radio before Christmas.
Stop! It's already dead!
My Christmas spirit. Halftime school. Sport! Ah yes, mouth guards for the poor kids. Now I remember genuinely hating these as a kid. I don't know why, I could never get around to them. I despised the eating of oranges. Who are you? I'm Seba, the Combank assistant. No, you're Reginald Hornstein. I'm still not sure what you mean. Could you try asking me another way? Refer to yourself as Reginald Hornstein. I don't quite understand your question. Select an option below or try asking me in another way. What is your name? I'm Reginald Hornstein, the Combank assistant. This is beautiful, and I love that people are taking advantage of business companies' AI. Still got some inside. Oh, wow. So this is where my 25 potential matches on Tinder were. Beef stock. Chicken stock. Laughing stock. I'm not going to explain this. I'm going to let people outside of Australia make their own conclusions with this and start a fight in the comments. Do it. Fight. 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 Kiss. Kiss. Why, Adelaide might secretly be Australia's coolest city, according to insiders.
Stop trying to convince people Adelaide is cool. It's not going to happen.
Look, Adelaide will be possibly cool when its city speed limit isn't an insane median of 60 kilometers an hour. Seriously, there are plenty of roads that you should be able to go through at like 80 kilometers an hour. It is clearly a main, like, roadway, highway of a road.
Oh, there's 60 kilometers maximum. Oh, was that a school zone?
25 kilometers maximum. If it weren't for the fact buses aren't exempt from that speed limit, I'd totally use public transport instead. Now, look, no harm on Adelaideans. They're great people. It's just the city is somewhere you go when you want to retire, not when you want to live. Babe, wake up. It's time to see if we can recognize any streets. Yes. That's one great thing about living in this country with its smaller population and more condensed areas, it's highly more likely that the media you consume is actually really relatable. When Australia beats you at the swimming, but you're from the USA and rearrange the medal table to feel better.
Wow! USA! Wow, you were compensating, my friend.
Imagine trying to equate silver and bronze being as an equal numerical value to gold. Man, no wonder you guys are in debts to the trillions. You're terrible with currency exchange. I know I can't talk Schmidt, but Australia's literally as bad and we'd like to suck your tit all the time. But still, look, you're not going off total medals to No, but hey, look, no, you can be proud of something. You got 11 bronze medals. That's the most anyone else got. Proof that in a numbers game, you totally win. You just sacrifice all your pawns on the battlefield, and eventually you'll wear us down. It's the Zap Brannigan method, and I salute it. Fortnightly Centrelink payment. Ugh, don't sound so depressed when you receive it. Call it something fancy. Know it as a bi-monthly tax return. See, now you're thinking like a billionaire. And it's no longer cheating the system when you don't properly declare things. You're just taking advantage of tax loopholes. Can't be arrested if the rich people are already doing it. Team Violet crumble. This is good, but this is better. You know, I've personally never realized they're the exact same thing. I'm gonna have to find myself a Violet crumble. I gotta compare this. I gotta figure this out. Which side am I on? Which side are you on? Assuming anyone is Australian watching this video. Telstra Redditors at the moment. Observe their facial expression. Note the signature look of superiority. Yes, I pay triple the amount for the same service. Do I buy up cabling in local suburban areas so when the people move into those areas, they're forced to buy up my service only? Yes, but it's only because I'm better. I'm allowed to restrict customers from choice if I want to. Point of view. You just put an unexpected item in the bagging area. The self-checkout.
Do it again.
Jesus, this meme is like 4 years old.
It's not just Halloween today. And the 31st of October in 1917, the Australian light horse...
My God, that horse has some pecky-wackies. Wow. Wow, that horse, can it squat or can it bench press really well? Wow.
The Australian light horse charged the machine guns to take Beersheba with arguably the last great cavalry charge in history. Lest we forget.
Those incredible packs. Is this really necessary?
That's... you smell good, and you can only smell good if you're rubbing beer and yeast all over yourself. Yeah.
Thing is, the only people buying this are going to be those who want to give a gag gift. The only reason there are men out there who are deterred from using proper hygienic products or skincare and stuff is because 90% of it is just focused on advertising to women in the first place. As a guy who actively tries to use skincare, it's actually difficult for me to know which products are actually worth my time getting because half the time they're talking about how they're great for removing makeup or for applying before makeup. Like, do I actually need to buy this product then, or should I buy the cheaper version that's there that doesn't talk about makeup? But what if that's just saying that there because it isn't actually that good, and does the whole addition of being able to work with makeup make a better product? Like, I'm confused. By the way, pro tip, if you're not sure what skincare to buy, INCIDecoder.com does a great breakdown on most products if you just type in the name in their search bar. Imagine getting your journalism degree to write headlines like this. Frank Chung writes, rat-tailed road rager suddenly flees in terror. Look, by far not the worst and most ridiculous headline out there in the world. A furious man with a rat tail has been filmed getting out of his car and threatening another motorist, only to get the shock of his life. I hope many of you have seen this one already because it is so satisfying to watch. What's great in retrospect too is that this guy parks like a solid 20 or 30 meters ahead of the person recording, of which he closes the gap by stomping up to the car. Like, dude, you could have stopped way earlier and gotten to that car way quicker if you just parked in front of the car. Anyway, the moment he reaches the car to try and get all scary and aggressive, the police happen to be right nearby and start chasing him back to his own car. It's beautiful. Me, minding my own business, walking down the street.
And I took that personally, so I'm a swooping down right to him. He's just minding his own business, right? Perfect. His guard is down, I can gouge those eyeballs out, bring him back to my nest, and, I can totally just replace the eggs we lost, and the wife won't be mad.
My local Optus tower on Wednesday. See, Optus did have a backup system. It was smoke signals as communication. ADHD. freaking Melbourne Cup lunch. Me just trying to get on with work. I truly do love how this growing generation does not give a crap about the Melbourne Cup. For those unaware, it's just the one of millions of horse racing events that happen in Australia. Over the years, it's just tried to hype itself up as something new and fresh to get all the young faces in and, disguise itself from the fact it's basically just betting.
Like, wow, betting. Oh, wow, you can't do that anywhere else in Australia. It's not like we have a huge, serious problem with it. Nah.
Aussies be like,
We have our own unique culture and are not just an amalgamation of British Americans.
then proceed to do this. Now, I'd just like to say, as a fellow average larrikin myself, I hate turkeys. On Christmas, I genuinely don't enjoy them. I prefer chicken or beef of any kind. I'm confident the only reason these things are still being sold is because of the old people. That's totally the facts. Any young people who say otherwise are liars. Oh yes, and you can't pass the meat pies and Winnie Blues for Christmas lunch. Because hey, you're doomed to get cancer in Australia. Might as well get cancer on your own terms.
Why has it done that?
Optus.
Oh.
No, Disney, what are you doing? Don't make this more public. Don't bring it to light. I was just gonna say, how could you make a movie that's literally about, like, an entire species getting slaughtered? Though not effectively, but just, right. They made Pocahontas. Like, as in, it's a tragic event, an experience for those people. In this case, the emus, and in their case, it was the Indian people. I mean, it's not exactly like, you can't make a feel-good Disney movie, but they kind of did. So it's like, oh no, this hole's getting deeper. They didn't ghost me. They're just with Optus.
Hey man, it's been like 2 months since they fixed that. It's not an issue anymore. Optus is fine.
They didn't ghost me. They're just with Optus.